Hey, hello world. How you doing? Not going anywhere, so my goodbyes are always met with hopeful hellos for tomorrow. And this case, I see a lot of people fixing roads. I get it, they've been let go way too long. I see a lot of money being thrown at it. And what I saw here in Michigan was they got all this federal funding, and it was supposed to go to helping Detroit to start to rebuild itself again. And that is a grand thing to me, because anybody that's been down in the city of Detroit and is a Mason like I am now sees the beauty in all these structural buildings built out of brick. A material that lasts way longer than a lot of things. I'm not saying we shouldn't have houses, but you also notice everywhere here in Michigan, especially up here in the country, everything has some sort of brick or stone on it. And a lot of these bigger ones look like marble mansions on these lakes that nobody can fish on. It's my own little plug there. It's kind of funny how you don't have to own the lake, you just have to own the land around it to control whether anybody can go in there and fish and have fun, because it might interrupt their quiet time. Go to Alaska. Go to the UP. But don't have too many people go up there, because that place is really still kind of old school, and I dig it up there. But my family's here, so anyways, you got all these roads that are just crazy being damaged, and mostly because we don't ship anything by rail anymore. And that's because that infrastructure we let go a long time ago. And you see railroads shutting down after just recently hiring a bunch of, let's just say what it is, because I know a lot of my friends went into the railroad after they got out of the military, after the whole pull down of forces ordered by the commander-in-chief at the time. And I'm not going to say his name because I don't want this video to get posted down, but you all know who it is. You all know who downsized the military so fast and so hard that a lot of people's lives were destroyed, and the homeless rate of veterans went up again, kind of like during the Gulf War. Oh, wait a minute, that was just the conflict. Anyways, so yeah, it's funny how all that stuff is. And now everything, because you can't ship it by plane either. For one, it's so hard to ship in and out of the country as it is, and rightly so, even though it happens a lot more on stuff there's a lot of planes up there that nobody's flying on. And the one cool thing I learned from the military is you can always have a lot of people flying on planes that are carrying mail and save them a hell of a lot of money, cargo and personnel. And there's a lot of big planes out there that have all these luxury first class seating that could be turned into a viable way for people to travel farther on the supply system. And that supply system that they're also paying for, because it used to be run by the United States Postal Service, and we always understood that it was going to be a loss, but we didn't think it was going to be the craziness that it is today, because the postman delivers mail to me, but the only mail he delivers to me is bills and waiver, flyers for credit cards and all these things like that. And I got wrapped up in that for a little bit, but I got it back under control. And to tell you the truth, I would rather not have any of it at all, because but I always keep my money in a bank because I trust. And you can't have a banking system if nobody's keeping their money in there for them to use as collateral, to give people back to you and me money. And start realizing that in the end, if you're not paying your bills anymore, it's either because you feel like those big corporations don't give a damn anyways. It's a write-off to them. And I would rightly say that I've done that before too. And rightfully so. A lot of them, I've made a lot of money off of a lot of crooked stuff called our banking system. But in the end, if you trust in it, you let it do what it's supposed to do. So people that are down on their luck, and it has to be by a free capital society. You have to agree, and I have to agree. But we can't put a lot of restrictions on it, because restrictions comes government involvement. And it's for a purpose. And even though it protects some stuff, I don't know if it does anything better, because we're trying to get away from capitalism. And except for a few places in the world, and they're having issues too, but no one talks about it because their industries are made off of people coming there to visit, because there isn't a lot of people there. And you can't use a microcosm like that. It's stupid and it's ignorant, if you ask me, and it has nothing to do with science or statistics or anything. But even then, them agreeing to the lifestyle they live comes at a cost. And they don't have any government agencies really to have that cost. So they can live off of other people coming there to visit there, because there isn't a lot of people. It works off of capitalism. You get what I'm saying? So back to the roads and the people driving on them. So you have all these truckers on the road, and everybody just drives like a computer's driving. But a computer isn't driving, because a computer can multitask, because it can divide its brain off into different things. CPU. Anyways, that's the problem with all the technology in the cars, and especially self-driving cars. Yeah, it's really cool, but you got to have the infrastructure to support something like that. And this world doesn't look like iRobot or those where you get in trouble for turning off the self-drive, because the computer's planned it all out to the point where you possibly be in the Matrix. But who wants to do that? Where's the fun in that? You know? Sometimes shit that's loud and cool is awesome. And it's not as bad as the other things if you look at it in the big picture, not the microcosm. Big, small. But if you take this really far away and look at it, I can almost put my hands and look like I am crushing your head. The old Kids in the Hall thing. I crush your head. I crush your head. But it only works from a distance. When you get up close, there's no way that I could crush my head with my 2 fingers. No way. You gotta be a pretty small person. And I would be somebody the size of a head of, I don't know, a cue ball. And hope it didn't have the density that came with the needing function of having a big brain. So I've got a big head and a big body to support the big head. That's funny. How if you're kind of fit and you get a little man belly when you're a dad belly, if they call it now or whatever, dad bod, how later in life that still looks like a pretty muscular, sexy man. And I would have to say the same for a female. It might sag a little bit more. It might not want to make love to you as much anymore. But I don't see that in my wife. I see a little bit of sag, I see a little bit of wear, and I love every bit of it because I helped put a lot of that wear on there. Sorry, boys and girls. Um, just trying to make it straight. Anyways, so you got all these trucks on the road, and I don't remember the exact numbers, but I know it's like for every wheel of the truck tire, and it's like 100,000 cars driving over that one wheel because of the extra amount of weight. And you're like, whoa. If you look in the big picture, you're like, whoa. And then you see here in Michigan where they have all these trucks that are carrying all this extra weight, but not really, because they tried to get rid of that by adding more tires. Great. It spreads the load lighter. So every time that you go and put that one truck tire, it's like 10,000 cars going over. But then you added all that weight that needs more power, and then you put restrictions on that power, and then all you end up doing is using more fuel to save a roadways that it's not really saving because there's just way too much truck traffic on it. And I'm a paver, I'm a truck driver, I'm a stonemason, I'm a lot of things. But when you try changing something to fix something else at all costs without looking at it in the big picture and just finding the best route, the most balanced route, then you won't have all that. And then even then you're not going to have it, because even if you had all those things back together, the railroad system, you stop thinking about how all these passengers are your all these passengers are your cargo, and you don't get paid unless you get them there somewhere safe. But they're your cargo, so they've already paid to fly on that, because everything to do with airplanes is controlled by the federal government. Everything. Just like the trains kind of started trying to turn into, and it just didn't work because they had let everything go for so long, and at the cost to get them back out of all the debt they got into and almost collapse after the Great Depression. Yeah. Large suicide spike then, but it wasn't in poor, struggling families and men. They also had a lot of struggle. But you had a lot more deaths in the stock market. You had a lot more deaths in the uber rich communities. And their family lines have pretty much disappeared because of all the debt they accrued during that huge spike in the stock market and all the banks when it all crashed. The early form of that. It all crashed because they were living way too high on the hog. And I think either side would say, whether you believe it or not, sorry, I was shaking a little bit, it's cold out here, that is kind of the same thing. Even if you were to get all that back up, we have become a society of now. No, actually, I want it before now. And if I don't get it, and if I don't get it exactly the way it is, even though I'm asking for this at an astronomical rate, and I don't care what's in it, and there's no government watching all these other shipping companies, because we've given up on the post office, and we want to privatize it because it doesn't make any money, but that doesn't make any sense really, because it should be a federal agency. it should be something that we lose money on, just like the printing of our money. Because the reason if we do that, we also know the technology that we have now is very cheap, has been around for a long time, that they can detect whether that money is real or not, if it's protected by the people that we pay our taxes for. If the post office and the integrity of what it used to be before it became federally funded, then that's what it should be. It's just people passing on messages to other people and not just be this big money scam. Just understand that socially we have to agree that all this stuff matters. So putting laws on all that stuff, and then at the same time being those stupid people that realize, hey, when you see a truck on the road, that man's at work. So maybe you being late for work or being in a rush to get home at a cost because you have to go see your daughter's soccer game, or your son's fighting in his first boxing match, or something is on TV. It's funny because everything is recorded and you can see it anywhere. On your phone even. Don't do it while you're driving. Just listen to music. There's a reason why music and math are so put together, and I've posted about this before. It's a dance. Everything's in numbers, and sometimes it's in chaos, which also deals in numbers. And yeah, you can't have order without chaos. So give a little respect to the drivers out there that are just working their ass off on really crappy roads with really ungrateful people. And that's all for all those delivery drivers out there too that you see running around at 9 o'clock at night just because they can make some more money, because it's all about numbers. And that's where money and the devil go hand in hand. When there is no control, there is no God. So put it all together, give a little respect, and realize that those people in those trucks are at work 24 hours a day. And a lot of them kill themselves in those trucks and miss a lot of their family time. And I was one of those guys for a while. Not a long time, but I actually have to say most of my career in the military. Because whether I was in a house having a good time, drinking a cup of coffee, my mind was always on the thought that I'm going back to war, or I could go to war. And yeah, you're at work all that time, and you're not just trying to defend your family, trying to defend everybody and get everybody their stuff now. Guess what, people? If you're thinking it's going to work, there's this law in physics that a lot of people don't talk about, and I don't truly know that it's 100% real because I'm not a physicist, so I have nothing to gauge it off of. But it makes pretty much sense to me, and it doesn't make sense to me. It's that you can't go any farther back in time than when the time machine was invented. God didn't give you a time machine. God didn't even give you homes. He didn't give you fire. He provided you fire, and then you figured out how to make it for yourself. But that took a while to figure out. And, yeah. You still got to have some sort of control, knowing that it's not God's control, because God's control is just be you. Just live that life, see where it goes. But he also has to be the control. So you can't be one without the other, and you can't be both at the same time if you're not God. And that's all I'm saying. Give people a break sometime. You don't know their life, even if they do some fucked up shit. But don't let people run all over you over and over again without either saying something or doing something about it. And this is me trying to do something about it. May God bless us all. One love, one race, under Him. The human race, for all you racists out there. Our lives matter. Have a good day.